Hey beauties, thanks for tuning in to CYB TV. This is Cherish. So I'm going to be showing you how I make this wig. This is going to be an easy to do bob wig with one closure and one bundle of hair pretty much. So I'm going to be starting out by dyeing the lace closure. I'm going to be using this quick blue bleach, the tint ball, 40 developer, and also the tint brush. And I'm just gonna take a scoop of that bleach, pour it in, and I'm just gonna eyeball pouring in the developer, and then I'm gonna stir that up till it's like a creamy consistency, and then I'm gonna begin to lay that on top of the lace closure on the back side, of course. And I'm just gonna make sure I fill the whole area. And after I'm done, I'm gonna take the towel and just wipe away any bleach that probably splashed on the hair. And now I'm just gonna set the timer for 15 minutes. I'm not gonna do any longer than that because it is 40 developer. So once I'm finished with that, I'm just going to go ahead and begin to start this wig. So as you can see, I'm using a wig cap. This comes with like adjustable straps in the back. I've already tightened those. I'm going to be using these pins just to pin down the hair in place as I sew. So I'm going to make sure the lace closure comes a little bit past the cap in the front. Then I'm going to use the markings around there to just follow and pin the lace closure around that. So once I got that pinned down in place and out of the way, I'm going to begin to sew. So I'm going to sew from the front, and I'm just going to take it through the little edge around the lace closure, and then I'm going to pull that through and go in between the thread and pull that tight. So I'm pretty much going to do that pattern for a couple of times, and then this is another way you can do it. I don't know, I just honestly switch up my sewing patterns. It just depends on how I feel. So I'm going to continue on sewing this lace closure down. And once I get around the top part, it kind of bunches up, so I just hold my finger there or pin it down to make sure the lace closure is going to be nice and flat. Okay, so now I'm going to do the other side, and once I get to the end, I just cut off the remainder of the thread, and then I just tie a knot. That's what makes me feel comfortable, is just tying a knot. Then I cut off the remainder, and there you have it. I took out the pins, and there the lace closure is secured. Alright you guys, so this is a rest of a piece of track that I had from one of my bundles. I just sewed that onto the back. I'm actually going to show you what I'm going to do with it later, but for now I just sewed that to the back, but you're going to see exactly what I end up doing in the end. So now I'm going to use the one bundle. This is the 18-inch bundle of Peruvian straight hair, and I'm just going to take that first track and just pretty much sew it directly around the lace closure edge. Once I'm finished sewing that first track down, then, and as you guys can see, it's really close to the front, and you'll see more of how I put the tracks on. So as you can see, I'm putting that front edge really close to the track, and then I do have a little gap in between it, like a 1 finger space gap, as you can see right there. So now I'm just going to take the needle through the weft, and then I'm just going to pull the needle through the thread, and I'm going to do that a couple times, and then after a couple times of doing through the weft, I'm going to just take the needle underneath the weft and then begin my sewing techniques. Whichever one works for you, do that. I'm just kind of doing whatever I feel like doing. So then, same thing at the end, I'm just going to cut off the remainder of the thread, tie a knot, and then cut off the remainder of that track. So now it's time to do track number 3, and I'm just going to pin it really close to the front because I want the front of the hair when I lift it up to like not see the tracks. I want it to look like it's blending in with my actual hairline. So as you can see, the third track is laid, and it is about a 1 finger space width in between the second track. And I'm really just showing you guys the structure of how I lay the tracks because that's most important, because I'm really only using 1 bundle and I want the hair to look full, but you know, so I'm doing a technique and a strategy, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So I pretty much sew track 4 and 5 2 finger space apart. Now I'm going to take the remainder of the tracks, and now I'm going to go in between those tracks that I use 2 finger spaces between tracks 4 and 5, and I'm going to follow the seams on the cap as you can see, and I'm just going to sew down those tracks. That way I'm appearing to make the wig look full, but it's really not going to be that full. But with the cut and the right technique, it's going to look very full. So that's what I end up doing, and as you can see, it's looking fuller. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, use the markings on the wig cap, the actual seams, as you can see on top, those seams on the side. I'm going to go ahead and pin the tracks down right there, a little past the seam, and then I'm going to sew that down. And voila. So I didn't go all the way to the front with these tracks, I just went towards the middle part because the middle is what's going to really make a difference to make the wig look fuller. So that's why I'm not really paying attention to the sides, because the lace closure and the other couple tracks that I did pretty much takes care of the sides density. So what I'm doing now is taking that last piece of the track for the from the bundle, and I'm just sewing that about 2 finger spaces from the rest of the tracks. After that track, I'm going to move on to that piece that I had sewed on in the beginning, and this is the piece of track that I had left from, I believe, the 20-inch bundle that I had. It's not even that much, but I decided to use it just to make the wig fuller. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did and follow the seams right along the cap, and I'm going to do 2 tracks to fill in that space. So just like that, everything's sewed down. Now we have to cut this lace. So I'm just going to cut the lace underneath the cap. Not the lace, but I'm going to cut the cap underneath the lace. There you go. That way you can see it shows through. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys quickly how I style everything and how I just pretty much just customize the wig more. So I cut off the lace in front, and now I'm going to take these tweezers and just start plucking the heck out of this wig pretty much until I'm satisfied. And I'm making the hairline look as natural as possible, but I still want it to be full because I want it to be volumized in the front, because how I cut it, I want it to just have that body. So this is how I'm deciding to tweeze. I'm just going to take, you know, little parts and sections, and I like to part it and how I'm going to actually be parting the wig. So I like to part on the side and both sides, and then also I like to do like a middle part. So I'm making sure I tweeze in between those part areas, and just the front hairline. Okay, so once I get the tweezing down for the most part, I am going to get ready to cut. So once I cut, there's no turning back. I can't glue the hair back on, so I have to get the cut right. So I'm starting with just cutting it pretty much right there, shoulder length. And then I'm just gonna cut a little bit more, and yeah, you guys, I honestly, when I go in to cut hair, I just kind of flow. I knew I wanted a bob, so that's what I'm starting pretty much from. So I'm going to put it on the side because that's how I'm going to wear this wig, mainly on the side. And after seeing how it lays, I'm just going to go ahead and put it back onto the little foam head and just even out the cut a little bit more. And then once I put it back on, it has more of an A-line cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and follow that up and do some graduation layers, just mainly bottom layers. But I want to make sure I add that body to the wig. So these are the layers that I end up cutting. Like I said, they're mainly bottom layers, a few, short graduation layers. See, I put my makeup on. So I'm going to be using this dry shampoo. First time trying dry shampoo. I don't know. I didn't know it was going to leave white residue on top of my hair. So if you guys see the white residue, that's what it is. So I'm just using it because it's going to make the hair on top lay flatter. And that way I won't have like the humps on top. So that's why I used it. And because I felt like the hair was a little greasy. But now I'm just curling the hair. I'm just curling it, bumping it, styling up. So you can see on top of the hair it's a little white, but I'm gonna fix that. So right now I'm just gonna pull out the little baby hairs, and then I'm just using my Pro Style gel just to sleek down the edges a little bit. But I don't want it to like do extra baby hair. I never really do that when I have my hair down anyway. So I want it to look really natural. Now I'm taking the concealer and just kind of blending in the lace a little bit more. And with this wig, I end up adding combs to the side, the front sides and everything, just so it won't, come off easily. So this is pretty much the end of the bob wig that I did, you guys. I absolutely love how it came out. The cut is so cute. I don't know. I just really like it. And the best part is it's a wig, but it looks real, and I didn't have to cut my real hair. So I actually like wearing it behind my ear, so that's what I did. But if you like how this came out, then definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up this video, and I will be sure to catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to turn on the bell notifications. Bye.